Well, we're breaking from our regularly scheduled program to bring you information as regards to COVID-19 and as it affects homeowners and renters. Guy, I'm sure, just like everybody across America, this is having some sort of effect on the people that you work with on a day-to-day basis.
Yeah.
For our viewers that need some sort of advice or reality check or anything like that, what can you tell us as it pertains to our housing?
Well, I think what's important, and the reason why we're doing this episode in general, is that there's a lot of really bad information on the internet, which is not uncommon, right? That's not new.
So you're on the internet,
yeah,
and you see bad information.
Yeah, I just want to help clarify it for people so that they have a good understanding of what good information is as opposed to bad information, and clean a lot of that stuff up for them. And so the first thing is that you don't have the ability to just not make your mortgage payment. That mortgage payments aren't due this month. That's not true. That's not how it works. You signed a contract that says, regardless of economic situations and struggles, you will still make your mortgage payment. Now, there are stipulations and ways that you can not make a mortgage payment, but your mortgage company has to be aware of that, for one. That's super important that you're contacting your mortgage company and letting them know ahead of time, hey, what do I do? I'm not going to be able to make my mortgage payment this month. What should I do? How should I proceed? That's the first thing that you need to do. So call your mortgage company. Typically, the way mortgage company deferrals work is that they are either tacked onto the back end of your mortgage. So maybe you had a 30-year mortgage is 360 payments, right? So maybe you're 6 months in and you have 354 payments left, and you can't make 354. So then that payment would then, if you can't make this one, that would go down back to the back end of your mortgage, and you would still have 354 to make. There may be late fees that come along with that, etc. You may have to actually miss a mortgage payment in order to make that happen, to be able to negotiate that with the bank. That may be part of their stipulation. And in that case, your credit will suffer, and you want to take that into account. You need to know that. And so that's one of the reasons why I want to make sure that everyone understands that you can't just miss a mortgage payment and then pay your payments like normal. You will incur late fees. You could have additional legal fees, etc. You need to call your mortgage company. You need to find out if it goes to the back end, if you can avoid the late fees. If you have to miss a payment, you have to figure those things out. And you do that by contacting your mortgage company. The next thing is when it comes to rentals and rent being due. I know that we've gotten a ton of calls about this as well. Do I still have to pay my rent? We just saw that the Supreme Court said that there will be no evictions. And that's true. There will be no evictions. But you still have a rental agreement that says that you will pay your rent on a certain date, typically the 1st, and it's late on the 2nd, and there's a grace period before you get a late fee. After that grace period, they'll post notice and go through that whole process. And legally, they have to do that. They still have to post notice. They still have to go through that process unless the property owner specifically has in writing told your property management company not to do that, in which case they can. But if the owner of the property hasn't done that, they can't. They have to treat every transaction the same, treat every tenant the same way. And so they're required to go through that process. With the order that came from the state Supreme Court, you won't be evicted, but you'll still be responsible for the rent and any late fees and utilities and all of those types of things. So it's important. The same way, if you're wondering about making your mortgage payment, you need to call your rental management company and find out if there's a way that you can work something out with them. That's paramount. Call the person that you owe money and ask them how you can potentially defer payment or make a partial payment or move it to the back end or whatever. You want to have that conversation before it becomes an issue of non-compliance. And then, of course, with all of those things, there are rental assistance agencies. There are, obviously, I saw something that said 22 million Americans have applied for unemployment at this point. And so that is certainly a way for you to make sure that you have income coming in so that you can make your payments, and you should be doing that. There's also the self-employed folks that are out there, like myself, being self-employed. I understand that I don't have an employer who's dictating to me how these things work. If I'm not making money because of market conditions, there are SBA loans, small business loans, that have been approved by not only the federal government but the state government agencies, and so you can apply for those as well. Now, we will link to those things here in the description so that you have links so that you know where to go for rental assistance, where to go for unemployment, where to go for those SBA loans, so that you have the tools that you need to make sure that you can stay compliant with the payments that you're supposed to make.